Okay, welcome to the solar eclipse, all signs for April 2022. Now, I need to specify that we are having a partial solar eclipse in Taurus in April, on April 30th. So, solar eclipses basically deals with the masculine energy. So it's more at your core level, your core self, your solar plexus area, your ego, things of that nature. And the lunar will deal with more of your emotional self, the moon energy, basically what's internal. As you know, the solar, everything is external. You know, it represents basically you've heard the term a man's world. That's basically what it means. It's like, you know, when everybody's out on the ground, they're doing things. That's the solar energy. Gold is a representation of the solar energy, as silver is a representation of the feminine energy. So opposites, okay? So Scorpio is the opposite of Taurus, and there will be I think that's, let me check my notes. Yeah, basically, I think it doesn't specify one. So basically, let's just say, you know, lunar eclipse. I think it's a full lunar eclipse, though. There's a lot of information to keep up with all these eclipses and things like that. So this is my first all signs reading. So, you know, bear with me. I'll eventually perfect that, you know. So let's see. All right. So basically, how we're going to do this layout, I'm going to basically do two cards, one for each. You know, one card for each eclipse, for each sign. So like, if I'm doing if I'm pulling the general energy for, let's say, I start out with Aries, I'll pull one card for Aries, one card for Scorpio. And that's going to basically, not Scorpio, sorry, my bad. One card for Aries, one card for Libra, okay? And that's going to represent how one card for both of those signs, because they're opposites. So you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm just doing it in honor of how the eclipses, you know, how they work together. And you know, there's no such thing as opposites. I said this in previous videos. You know, it just like when you talk about directions, you know, north and south, they appear opposite in duality. This is the universe of duality. They appear opposite, but when everything changes, when the Earth tilts, when the axis shift, north becomes south, south becomes north. So same thing goes with this. So basically, your opposite will be your shadow self. So I'm Gemini sign, so my opposite is Sagittarius, and so Sagittarius would be my shadow self, but I still have access to those abilities. Now it doesn't mean that's your dark self, that's just more of the hidden self of you, but you still are part of that, you know. A lot of times you will see Geminis as teachers because they're smart. Same thing with Sagittarius, you will see them the same way, even though they both are different. And the thing about the opposite is, the reason that they really are unified and cannot exist without the other is because, you know, for example, Gemini is ruled by the element of air, and so Sagittarius is ruled by the element of fire, so you can't have one without the other. You have to have air to feed the fire, you know, oxygen, for the fire to expand and you know, and be what it is meant to be. Same thing goes with, you know, Gemini. You have to have that fire, that spirit, in order to, you know, make Gemini feel alive, for example. So, being that I'm going to do all these together, I'll basically be pausing the video to make sure that I get you know, the information out to y'all. So like I said, just bear with me, and again, I appreciate your likes, comments, you know, subscribe, shares, everything. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to book a personal with me in regards to this reading or any other readings that I offer, I've added my link to my Etsy shop, as well as my website is in there as well. And also make sure to check your big three. You want to check your main three, which is basically your sun, moon, and rising for each one of this. So make sure you check all your placements, because this is a very general reading, so it's not going to resonate with everyone. I pretty much got, you know, when it comes to the astrological aspect, that's going to be more accurate than anything. When it comes to the tarot, you got to realize I'm reading for the collective of each sign. So if I'm reading for Aries and Libra, and then I'm basically going to be, you know, tuning into that collective energy. So that's why it's very general, and just take what resonates with you, and don't try to attach and allow this reading to program you. Like, don't take everything I'm saying to you as, you know, spot on. You have to use your own discernment and figure out if this feels right for you or if this resonates with you. So on with the reading, and 1 second. Okay, Aries, welcome to the solar and lunar eclipse reading for April 2022 and May 15th. So basically, I've already explained in the intro what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to pull one card for both signs for solar eclipse and one card for both signs for the lunar eclipse on how it will affect you. Now your opposite is Libra. So basically, let me look at my notes here. Alright, so basically the eclipse is going to affect you in your second house of materials you own, your money. It's money house. It's actually ruled by Taurus. And I also want to include too that tomorrow we are officially in pre-shadow of retrograde, Mercury retrograde. So there could be a lot of issues with this video. I apologize beforehand, but I'm trying to get to the point and actually make sure that you understand what I'm talking about. So second house. So directly opposite of that, and for Libra, it's going to be in the 8th house. So 8th house is basically ruled by Scorpio, and it's going to be death, sex, taxes, inheritances, things like that. So Libra at this time might have something eclipsed out of their life or something taken away. For example, in Libra, I don't know how this is going to affect you, and I'm not, hopefully it doesn't affect you this way, but an example would be like, because it is the 8th house of death, something could be taken away from you, but you would get something in its place. So it could be a very literal death, like a physical death for somebody in your life, but it could also be just death of a job. It could be death of a tax bill that you owed, and that something came in to where you could pay it. So it just depends how you look at it. Aries, your second house, like I said, it's basically going to deal with, let's see, an example here. It could, for Aries and Libra both, you could start investing in things. You might see results from your investments. If you're an entrepreneur, you might start earning a salary from your business, or you could be learning new skills that help you out in your career. So it could deal with all that, but it's basically the theme is money. So just think about that and see how that affects you. Now, I'll pull a card from each deck. So allow me to be a clear channel for Aries and Libra. And for Aries, actually, for the first card, how will this solar and lunar eclipse affect Aries in regards to collective energy? Allow me to be a clear channel for this reading. How will the solar and lunar eclipse affect Aries? So basically, it's telling you, Aries, at this time Aries and Libra, to rest and rejuvenate. So an example of that would be, because certain things would be eclipsed out of your life, it might give you a chance to rest and rejuvenate more. So you might find yourself already doing this, but certain responsibilities, things that you had before that dealt with, like say, for Aries, it would be the second house. So it might be, certain things will, say if it's in investments, say that you've made all you can do, make on a certain investment, and some of the responsibility has been, relieved from you. So now you have more time to rest and rejuvenate. And same thing for Libra. It could be the same way. It'd be the opposite house, but so it just gives you more time to actually do that, to rest and rejuvenate. And it could be saying that, because this could, for me, I'm getting, this is the advice for you. So once this eclipse comes through, for Libra, it'd be an emotional thing. So maybe you need emotional rest. You could have like a lot of things going on, and you could have something tied to you emotionally that's now it's going to be put to rest. So just take this time to rest and rejuvenate, and understand that whatever is leaving your life or coming to your life at this time is going to give you the opportunity to rest and rejuvenate. Also, let me pull another card for that. I might just go ahead and add 2 for that. Alright, so what else does Aries and Libra need to know in regards to how the solar and lunar eclipse will affect them? Material harvest. So what I was saying, second house of owning things you own, investments, money. So basically, it's just saying material harvest is going to come in for both of you. And so, and then the 8th house, again, that is death, inheritance, things like that. So whatever's leaving your life or being eclipsed is going to, give you a potential material harvest and more time to basically rest and rejuvenate. So thank you for watching, Aries, Libra. I hope this reading helped you out. Let me know if it resonated, and on to the next sign. Okay, Taurus, this is going to be your reading for the eclipses. The first eclipse for you is going to be, it's Taurus and Scorpio actually, so it's going to be, basically I'm doing the opposites. I explained it in the intro, but if you didn't catch that part, I'm going to explain it again. So basically Taurus, this eclipse is actually going to be in your sign. So it's going to appear in Taurus. The solar eclipse is going to be a partial solar eclipse, and the actual lunar eclipse is going to be in your opposite sign of Scorpio. So Taurus, you rule the second house of owning, money, things like that. Basically Taurus means show me the money. Scorpio deals with sex, death, taxes, inheritances, the 8th house of death, rebirth, etc. So with the, I'm going to basically do two cards for each sign. So for you and your opposite. So basically, Taurus, Taurus, you're going to basically be, for this eclipse, the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse, is going to affect you in ways of personal growth. So you might actually find yourself becoming more comfortable in the way that you dress, the way that you feel. It can affect your work environment. You might actually, for example, meet somebody in a position of power that will help you in your career or your business at this time. Also with Mercury in pre-shadow retrograde, which basically officially starts tomorrow, it's already basically here, but you might start reconciling from people from your past, things like that. So it just depends, and this goes for Scorpio too. It just might be in the opposite, it might occur for you in the opposite way. So just know that you are basically one, even though it's the Taurus and Scorpio, even though they appear to be, they are opposite signs, they're still one as far as unified. I've met a lot of Tauruses that actually have a Scorpio moon. So you're affected both ways. And Scorpios, you actually might find that you like Tauruses a lot more because they help ground you. So let me see how else this is going to affect you. So let's see. And you might actually, with this growth that's going to happen with these eclipses, you might actually get to the point to where you are more comfortable sharing your opinion with other people. You might break up with someone, or you could even reach the next level of relationship with your, boyfriend, girlfriend, however. Engagement rings, just depends how, how it resonates for you. It's not going to resonate with everyone because, like I said, I'm reading for a lot of, reading for a lot of different Tauruses and Scorpios. And also, it's basically, it might help you grow and get out of like unhealthy relationships, especially an example would be like if you're someone that's always texting your ex, this might be something that comes to a halt because the eclipses basically will eclipse certain actions, behaviors, things like that out of your life. But the theme for this is growth, personal growth, through this time. So, take whatever resonates, and I will pull some cards to give you more detail on, how the eclipse is going to affect you and Scorpio at this time. So how will the eclipse affect Taurus? How will the eclipses affect Taurus at this time? Recognition and reward. So you might find yourself being recognized for some of the work that you're doing. And this might lead to personal growth, or that your actual personal growth might actually, bring more of this to you. So it could be a project that you're working on that is going to be recognized, or it could be an idea that you have that becomes a project that ends up being recognized. So just think about that and see how that's going to apply to your life. And that's going to be for the solar energy for Taurus. Now, how will Taurus be affected by the lunar eclipse? How will Taurus be affected by the lunar eclipse? How will Taurus be affected by the lunar eclipse? How will Taurus be affected by the lunar eclipse? Awareness. So, with a lunar eclipse, Taurus, you're going to basically basically this is going to change your awareness. This is going to increase your awareness. You might become more aware of things around you, things that you didn't know, things that were hidden. Being that it's lunar, it could be, how you feel about someone, emotions, because that's what lunar eclipse does. It affects the emotions, it affects the water element, so that's water. It could also, being that this is in your opposite of Scorpio, it could actually appear in the 8th house, which means you could be aware that, you could find out that someone died that you didn't even know that died. So, I'm sorry if that, if that ends up being the case. But it could be, something that someone that actually passed away, or, that you wasn't aware of that died, or it could be someone that you're aware of that died, but you found out there was something, that was hidden with that death, or something that you didn't know that person was invested in or had. So it could be like a hidden investment or something at this time that comes to light to you because someone passed away. So think about that. Okay, Scorpio, how will the partial solar eclipse affect you at this time? How will the possible solar eclipse affect you at this time? So solar, basically solar chakra. So, no, sacral chakra. So basically at this time, being that this is a solar, and it's, I'm not solar, but being this is a solar eclipse, this could affect you by releasing certain things, addictions, things like that, or things that you're attached to. So this could eclipse certain attachments, physical items that you're attached to, physical things that you're addicted to out of your life at this time. Now the sacral, which is basically the sex chakra, that's where addictions lie. That's also your creativity. So it could basically eclipse, like, say for example, emotional blocks that are blocking your creativity. So think about that and see how that applies to you. And it might actually increase your finance because the card is number 2 in the deck. So that deals with the 2nd house, which is your opposite of Taurus. So how will the lunar eclipse affect Scorpio at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Scorpio at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Scorpio at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Scorpio at this time? Transformation, which I basically was talking about that, with Taurus. So for both of you actually. So you're going to experience a transformation. So, if it has, it deals with the sacral chakra. So, all these blocks and things like that, it's going to be a transformation. So it's going to be a, emotional, it's going to lead, basically because the solar eclipse is going to affect your sacral chakra, and that deals with emotions and water. It's going to trigger something emotionally and allow you to change and transform because of that. So, and the lunar eclipse is going to affect you in the same way. So the end result is you're going to see a transformation in regards to your emotions, Scorpio. So Scorpio is basically what I have for you for the solar and lunar eclipse of eclipse season for April 2022 and May 15th. So thank you for watching. Okay, Gemini, welcome to your solar and lunar eclipse reading for April 2022. Alright, so the partial solar eclipse is going to be it's going to come through it's going to be in the sign of Taurus, and then the lunar eclipse is going to be in the sign of Scorpio. So Taurus rules the 2nd house, which is owning, money, things like that. And then with Scorpio, they rule the 8th house, and so basically that deals with other people's money, death, inheritance, finances, sex, all things hidden, things like that. So what I will first do, this is for Gemini and Sagittarius, by the way. This is the first time me doing an all signs reading for eclipses, so bear with me. Plus, we're just now entering Mercury retrograde pre-shadow, which is on the 26th, which is tomorrow. So this, Geminis, if anything you understand, if this reading is, seems scatterbrained, I do apologize ahead of time. It's a lot of information to process and try to keep it going at this time during the retrograde. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 2 cards for each eclipse, or basically 1 card for solar eclipse, and then a card for the lunar eclipse for Gemini, and then also do the same thing for Sagittarius, which is our opposite. So bear with me. It's hard to explain all that every time. Alright, so Gemini, let me look at my notes. Alright, so basically these eclipses are going to affect you in regards to healthy, habits at this time. So for Gemini, it's going to be in the 12th house. Sagittarius, I guess that would be your 6th house or 3rd house. So, all right. So basically, you might become a regular at the gym, even usually consider a daily walk. More workouts, more healthy stuff. You might actually come to the awareness that you need to change your eating habits, which is always good. These eclipses are going to deal with mental health because they're in, it's in the 12th house for Gemini. So being that's the opposite of Sagittarius, I think that would be the 6th house. But it would basically affect, it's going to affect the main 3 in your chart. So make sure you look up your, sun, moon, rising, and mainly it's going to affect the fixed signs more than anything, especially between the 10 and 22 degree mark. So the 22 degrees are going to experience things more heavenly, heavy, not heavenly, but heavy, and the 10 degree mark is basically going to be, more serenity, more peaceful. So make sure you look at your whole chart when applying this to your life, because it's basically going to it's going to matter where you look. It depends on your other signs. All you have to do is type in natal birth chart on Google, and it'll let you know how these, how it's going to affect you in other places. So basically, it's all going to be about moderation and balance. And some of you actually might things like unhealthy lifestyle changes or unhealthy lifestyle choices might be being eclipsed out of your life at this time. So some of you, an example of this is that say that you've had throughout your life, you've had many, and this goes for Sagittarius and Gemini, you've had many different issues that have made your mind, kind of turn for the worst, or more anxiety or something like that. So you might find yourself going to like Communicare or some type of mental health facility and getting on meds, antidepressants. I mean, it can manifest in so many different ways. So one that I'm going to tell you I recommend for all the Gemini, Sagittarius is you should meditate. Master meditation. That's going to be your best bet. Master grounding. Work with your things. Do the shadow work. That's always going to help you. I've been doing it for many years now, and you will go in these places and get false diagnoses. They'll tell you this is wrong with you, this is wrong with you, and in reality you just need to balance your energies. Balance is the key. So let me do Gemini's cards for the eclipses. So how will the partial solar eclipse affect Gemini? How will the partial solar eclipse affect Gemini? How will the partial solar eclipse affect Gemini? So obstacles and challenges. Now, I know this is true because an obstacle right now and a challenge for me as a Sun Gemini that I can relate to as far as this eclipse that's coming in and Mercury retrograde, the pre-shadow which starts tomorrow, is my air conditioning is out right now. So yesterday, here where I'm at, it was 81 degrees and it was hot. And so this is an obstacle, and then so when I called to get it repaired, I had to wait because they were already booked because so many other people are experiencing that, so that has to do with delays. So think about that. In Sagittarius, this is going to be your opposite, so pay attention too. You might affect it, you might affect you in a similar way but different. So that's obstacle and challenges. So in regards to me doing this all signs reading, which is basically the first time I've ever had to do this or ever done this, it's a challenge for me to be doing all these signs at once and especially during Mercury retrograde, and keeping up with all the information in an unair conditioned home. So think about that and see how that applies to you. Okay, so how will the lunar eclipse in May affect Gemini? How will the lunar eclipse in May affect Gemini? How will the lunar eclipse in May affect Gemini? So, Gemini, the base chakra, it deals with security, survival. It deals with, lower back issues, money, finances, things like that. So the lunar, so you might at this time, or around May 15th, you might find yourself feeling ungrounded. You might feel yourself worried, by financial strain. Emotionally, it might get you. So your business may not be doing exactly what it's, for you that own a business, it may not actually do what it's supposed to be doing. There could be so many ways this can manifest, but it's basically saying that you need to, don't allow these things to keep you ungrounded. You need to make sure that you balance all that out, try to balance that. So you can listen to root chakra music during that time to balance you out, but you might find yourself in survival or something like that because of the eclipse. So something could be eclipsed out of your life during that time that has you worried or something like that. Now, it doesn't have to be that. It can just be in regards to that. So just know, like, when I was reading my notes there can be a lot of different, a lot of things that can affect your mental health at this time. So this would be one of the first things you want to ground yourself. Okay, so Sagittarius, how will the partial solar eclipse affect Sagittarius at this time? How will the partial solar eclipse affect Sagittarius at this time? How will the how will the partial solar eclipse affect Sagittarius at this time? So harmony. So being that this is the opposite sign of Gemini during this time, it could definitely, Sagittarius might find yourself harmonious. So whatever's going to happen for you, whatever, it might actually, have you feeling just great. And that could be lifestyle changes, anything like that. Okay, sorry about that. I need to pause the video for a second. So basically, as the solar eclipse could affect Gemini in the 12th house, which could deal with mental health. The Sagittarius might be having the opposite effect. So they might just, everything might just be harmonious and everything might be going great. So there could be things being eclipsed out of your life at this time that is less stress, less things that you have to worry about. So just take that how that applies. So how will the lunar eclipse affect Sagittarius? How will the lunar eclipse affect Sagittarius? How will the lunar eclipse affect Sagittarius? So passion ignited. So you might find, being with it in harmony, this could be harmony between the masculine and feminine within you, or it could be, with a partner. So when it says passion ignited, that could be a passion reignited between you and a partner, ex-partner, something like that, especially with Mercury retrograde coming in. It could just be what you're doing, a love for life, passion, things like that ignited. So being that's an emotional thing, passion is going to deal with emotions. So whatever's happening for you is going to, basically it seems like it's going to be harmonious for you at this time. And that's good. And of course, lifestyle changes and things like that will help you. It will help you financially, it will help you in every aspect of your life, especially if you, decide to go to the gym, or you might find a newfound passion with that. It could manifest in so many different ways. So take it how it resonates. Okay, Sagittarius, thank you for watching. Appreciate your likes, shares, and subscribe, comments, and on to the next time. Okay, Cancer and Capricorn. This is going to basically be your information on how the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse will affect you for April and May. Okay, so the way I'm doing that, I'm doing signs that are paired. So Cancer, your opposite is Capricorn. So I'll be doing Cancer first, and I'll do a card for each eclipse for Cancer, and then I'll do the opposite sign next, which will be Capricorn, and I'll do a card for each one of them, as well as tell you my own personal notes astrologically how this is going to affect you. So Cancer and Capricorn, you will be feeling basically extra social during this time. You might find yourself, with friends, networking, more social interaction, especially we have basically have pre-shadow retrograde starts tomorrow. So no matter when people tell you when Mercury retrograde is starting, understand that we have a pre-shadow first, and then at the end of that we have a post-shadow. So any of the memes and stuff that you see on Facebook, it says it's finally over. It's not. You always have a before and an after, a beginning and an end. There's not just something, none of these transits and planets, none of these things just happen. They just, just like an example would be sunset. The sun just doesn't go down. It's a process, just like everything else. So pay attention to that. So let's see. So this might have to do, you might find this, having to do with your career, Cancer and Capricorn, more networking, friends like that. You might find people, like groups of people, that's basically that you find more like-minded people, more interest, people that are interested in what you're doing, more dating, relationships. So basically the theme is relationships, friends, things like that. So it's how it's going to affect you. Social interaction between those for both of you. Perhaps you might find yourself going to museums, music shows, be concerts, something like that. So just take that how it resonates, take it how it applies to you. Understand this is a general reading, so it's not going to apply to everyone. So it's just one of those things, and you can look up your big three, like your Sun, Moon, and Rising, Cancer and Capricorn. It will help you more in regards to, or look at the other placements in this reading to find out how this will affect you more. All right, so how will the partial solar eclipse affect Cancer at this time? How will the solar eclipse affect Cancer at this time? How will the solar eclipse affect Cancer at this time? How will the solar eclipse affect Cancer at this time? They fell out the wrong way, so how will the solar eclipse affect Cancer at this time? So triumph. So you might feel, Cancer, the solar eclipse might make you feel like you're going to win or you're going to triumph on something. Sorry about that. So whatever you got going on right now, like new friends, the home life, whatever, you might just feel like that, everything is going to happen for you with this eclipse. It might be eclipsing certain things out of your life that is not going to be good for you. So just take it how it resonates, and because it's like this, when one thing is taken out of your life or eclipsed out of your life, something else comes in. So being that it deals with the solar energy, that's masculine energy, so that could be something in the external world. As the lunar eclipse affects the internal world, so your emotions, for example. So let me see what I get for how the lunar eclipse will affect you, Cancer. How will the lunar eclipse affect Cancer at this time? How will the lunar eclipse in May affect Cancer? How will the lunar eclipse affect Cancer? How will the lunar eclipse affect Cancer? How will the lunar eclipse affect Cancer? Okay. Foundations and achievements. So at this time, it seems that these eclipses are going to be, great for you. It's going to help you basically become victorious in something, as well as something to do with your foundations and achievements. So that's good, Cancer. It seems like everything's going to be going good for you. So through networking, friends, things like that, your foundations, whatever you got going on, keep at it. And it seems like that these eclipses are going to be very, very good for you. So on to your opposite side, Capricorn. How will the solar eclipse affect Capricorn? 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 Solitude. So whatever's going on right now for you, Capricorn, basically that's just saying that you might find that this eclipse might make you want to spend more time by yourself. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of growth and things that can happen during solitude. You can actually become aware of yourself. So if that's the case, you might become more hermit, might spend time by yourself. So whatever's going to happen for you, I hope that it works out. But solitude, this is not a bad card. This is just saying that, and especially if you're doing it now, Capricorn, if this is something that you find yourself doing or you're thinking about doing, it might also, I'm also getting too, because this is going to be about friends and foundations and achievements, this eclipse might pull you out of that. So perhaps, that's what I'm getting. So basically, you might be spending time in solitude right now, or you're thinking about it, or you've been doing that, and this is basically going to pull you out of that. So kind of look to your friends to pull you out of that, and then, let's see. And then that's basically, that would lead to networking and other things like, going out. So an example of Capricorn would be like, say that you are spending time by yourself, and so friends contact you and say, hey, let's get together and go to this concert. So that would pull you out of solitude, if that makes sense. So whatever, and so the solitude or the hermit, being a hermit or something like that, could basically be something that's hindering you right now. So this eclipse is going to eclipse that out of your life so that you can start doing other things with your friends. And so I feel like you'll be pretty happy with that, Capricorn. Alright, so how will the lunar eclipse affect Capricorn? How will the lunar eclipse affect Capricorn? How will the lunar eclipse affect Capricorn? Sacrifice. So there's something in your life right now that you need to sacrifice. Now, it could be that this time that you're spending alone, Capricorn, that you're going to, or however resonates with you, whatever it means to you, that you're going to have to sacrifice something. So maybe you're doing projects. An example could you're doing projects by yourself in solitude, and there might be these TV shows or something like that you're watching. And then there's going to be an area in your life that you have to sacrifice in order to get what you want. So perhaps it's going to come through these friends with the solar eclipse. So you might at this time be finding that you had to sacrifice parts of yourself. So now the solitude is probably what you're going to need to sacrifice in order to get what you want, Capricorn. So I hope that resonates with you. Like, share, and subscribe. I can't talk down Mercury retrograde. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your comments. Let me know what you think, and on to the next time. Okay, Leo, Aquarius. This is going to be your eclipse reading for April and May of 2022. So we're going to have a partial solar eclipse in Taurus. And that's basically going to affect the masculine energy or the external world, as the lunar will affect the internal world and your emotions, okay? And that's the feminine energy. So I'm basically doing your sign and your opposite. And that's the way the eclipses are. It's going to be, the lunar is going to be in Scorpio, which is the opposite of Taurus. So I figured that would be the best way to do that. Alright, so first let me tell you the notes and stuff that I got astrologically, how this is going to affect you. So basically the theme, Leo, for you and Aquarius, is basically, and it's going to be opposites, so it'll be in different ways. The theme might be the home at this time. You might find yourself, really be working on your home. You might find yourself moving, things like that. It could be a renovation that you're thinking about doing. I know some Aquariuses that just cannot stop renovating their houses. Perfectionist, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. Family stuff, anything to do with basically the fourth house, and then the opposite, the opposite of the fourth house too. So, family stuff on your mind, unresolved issues with parents or other family members coming up. Also with the Mercury in pre-shadow retrograde, which basically officially starts tomorrow, but it's already here. So you might find, electronics issues like that. People basically coming back from the past, and if this is, deals with the home and the moving and things like that, you might see delays. So it could be moving into a new home, creating a new experience with family. Could be delays in regards to that. And you might actually, some of you might actually do like a complete 180 and join a, whole new industry or a new career. You might get promoted. It could manifest in so many different ways. Or you might see a job being eclipsed out of your life, and you getting a new one. So home, family, career, basically. All right, so I'm going to do your cards, 2 for each eclipse for each sign. All right, so how will the eclipses affect Leo, or how will the solar eclipse affect Leo at this time? So it's going to affect your destiny, and the number is 10, so that can be completion. So whatever is happening right now, whether it's losing a job, moving to a different place, getting a new job, starting a new career, this is going to be basically a part of your destiny. And being that is number 10, that can represent your 10th house of career, which I had already basically discussed. In my notes, it came up astrologically to deal with your career. So that's good, you know. It could be one thing. And again, this is for Leo first, okay? I do Aquarius next. So just think how that applies, you know. Like I said, I'm reading collectively for all signs. I can't hardly talk because of the retrograde. So just bear with me. This is my first all sign, so this is a lot of challenges and things like that. It's very challenging to do this at this time during these transits. So when it, you know, also the card when it says destiny, you know, if you say it's you, but it's basically showing a lot of people around you. So whatever you're doing right now, Leo, it could affect, you know, it could leave a mark on your destiny, meaning that, you know, it could affect, like if you see all those people around you, which is basically you, just a bunch of different yous in it, it could affect different aspects of you and people around you. So whatever you're doing right now, you might build a legacy that, you know, career-wise, that can leave an imprint on your family from generations to come. So that seems, you know, that's a good, very good card. All right, so how will the lunar eclipse affect Leo at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Leo at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Leo at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Leo at this time? So triumph and success. So you got, you know, for both solar and lunar eclipse, so you're gonna, basically it's great. It seems like it's gonna be really good. Now y'all are fixed signs, so for a change like this to come in, you know, it can be very different. So different for you because a lot, you know, these eclipses are in fixed signs, which means it affects all fixed signs. The fixed signs are Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. So you're gonna, you know, see a fated connection with all of this. So that's good, Leo. Let's see what I get for Aquarius. Okay, so how will the solar eclipse affect Aquarius at this time? How will the solar eclipse affect Aquarius at this time? How will the solar eclipse affect Aquarius at this time? Fertility. So basically it's saying that the solar eclipse is going to make you more fertile. So that could be the Empress in regular tarot. So basically, you know, if you see this lady right here, she's basically, you know, it's showing her heart chakra. So if you got some dreams or something like that that's in your heart, it's basically saying follow your heart at this time. And that whatever you want to manifest from your heart space or from your creative center or the things that you love is very possible at this time. So allow that energy of the eclipse to eclipse anything that could be blocking that out. If you have anything in your life that's blocking that out or blocking your dreams, you make sure you let the eclipse take that away. So that's really good, Aquarius. And that's number 3 too, so that can deal with communication with people. Again, what I was saying in the beginning of the reading deals with the 3rd house of communication. Mercury also, Mercury pre-shadow retrograde actually might put a spin on that for you. All right, so how will the lunar eclipse affect Aquarius at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Aquarius at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Aquarius at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Aquarius at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Aquarius? How will the lunar eclipse affect Aquarius? How will the lunar eclipse? Okay. So 2 cards came out. So basically, it's going to affect you for basically allowing your dreams to come true, which is basically the heart chakra and the 3rd card, and that is the 9th card. So that's part of, you know, 3, 6, and 9. And so, and actually, look, that's wild. I've never seen that happen before. So you got, let's see. So the cards come out 3, 6, and 9. So, you know, Aquarians, I know most of you are aware of Nikola Tesla. So that's wild. So fulfillment of wishes, material and spiritual prosperity, and fulfillment of wishes, and, you know, that's great. So congratulations, Aquarius. Hope everything works out for you. All right, so I appreciate your likes, shares, subscribes, comment. Let me know what you like, what resonated, and on to the next sign. Okay, Virgo, Pisces. This is going to be your eclipse reading for April 2022 and May. So basically we have a solar eclipse in Taurus, which basically affects the masculine energy and it affects like the outside world, as the lunar eclipse will affect your internal energy. Alright, so, and the lunar is going to be in Scorpio, which is Taurus's opposite. So that is why, if you didn't watch the intro, that is why I'm doing opposites in this reading. Alright, so I'm going to look at my notes and tell you astrologically how this is going to affect you. So basically, this is going to deal with communication, travel. You might be learning new things that you're interested in. It seems to be a theme on being able to fix any communications, and also with Mercury in pre-shadow retrograde, which starts basically tomorrow. No matter what astrologers tell you or Facebook memes tell you, Mercury retrograde is right now, and it's a challenge for doing this reading. So I always have to specify and emphasize on that, because so many people confuse people when they don't, they read something, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So basically, this might have to do with writing for a job, school, or just for fun. It can become a bigger focus with you. If some of you love to write and you did that in the past and you haven't had time recently, the eclipse and with Mercury retrograde might bring that back in, might bring your talents back out to where you need to write or feel like you need to write something down, so go for that. And you might start, start to suddenly, start journaling, or, buy a whole bookstore. So it might make you want to read more, get back into reading, writing, things like that. So communication, reading, and writing, makes sense, because I know Pisces and Virgo like to do those things, especially with Virgo being ruled by Mercury. All right, so now I'm going to do 2 cards for each eclipse for each sign. Okay. Well, 1 card for each eclipse. Let's see. Alright, so how will the solar eclipse affect Virgo at this time? How will the solar eclipse affect Virgo at this time? So, alright, so at this time, especially with the Mercury retrograde, it's telling you that you need to have patience. So this might actually eclipse something out of your life that makes you more patient. Added stresses and things like that, or you might learn more patience through reading, writing, things like that, which is actually very good. So whatever's going on in your right now, that could be a hindrance, or it could be like feels like an obligation or stress like that, that might be eclipsed out of your life. And so basically you're looking at less stress, possibly even and that could be odd with the Mercury retrograde coming in, because sometimes that impacts more. But it just depends how you look at it. We are in duality, so these things have a positive and negative effect on us, and it really just depends on, as us being creators, what we put the emphasis on. The more we emphasize on the negative, the more we attract back to us. The same goes for the positive. So whatever's going on right now, just allow these transits and these energies to do what they do, and you might find yourself at peace because of that. Alright, so how will the solar eclipse how will the lunar eclipse affect Virgo at this time? How will the lunar eclipse impact Virgo at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Virgo at this time? Authority. So with the lunar eclipse, it deals with your emotions. So you might find yourself bucking at authority, but it could also you becoming an authority figure, or in a new job, a boss, something like that. You might have to go up against authority, or whatever. You might find yourself like becoming more like an emperor at this time, or especially if it deals with like the bookstore and things that I was talking about before. You might feel like you're this time, and this might help you. So the eclipse energy might make you less of this, or it might make you, if you've got somebody around you that's being an emperor, or trying to be a boss of you or something like that, it could improve the communication and relationships, being that it's a lunar eclipse, or it could eclipse an authority figure out of your life that's been causing you these stresses and strains or something like that. Alright, so Pisces. How will the solar eclipse affect Pisces at this time? How will the solar eclipse affect Pisces at this time? How will the solar eclipse affect Pisces at this time? How will the solar eclipse affect Pisces at this time? That's too many cards. Power. So at this time, Pisces, you might see, you might feel with the solar eclipse that you have more power, more energy, more actual ideas, things like that to make you feel, you know, or basically you might find yourself stepping more into your power. So make sure that you utilize your power at this time and actually take advantage of that solar eclipse. It could also be eclipsing powerful individuals out of your life, or eclipsing blockages that might actually, you know, be drawing on your power or taking your power away. So you might actually pull your power back from certain endeavors and things like that at this time too. Alright, so how will the lunar eclipse affect Pisces at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Pisces at this time? How will the lunar eclipse affect Pisces at this time? It sounds like it's pouring down rain, Pisces, so that's kind of wild. You know, y'all are the water element and it's raining. So maybe, you know, maybe it can be very emotional for you at this time, or maybe you'll take your power, maybe you would take your power back from an emotional experience. It could be a storm in you brewing, and that could be the, you know, the power. The power in you is coming out. It just depends. All right. So how will the lunar eclipse affect Pisces? So third eye chakra. So the lunar eclipse might actually eclipse something out of your life, or actually eclipse emotional blockages out of your life that will allow you to see more, see the truth of things. You might actually be able to, at this time, be able to see, because of that, from the power aspect, something might happen to where that you are now able to see your own power, or see your own worth, or see, you know, how powerful you are, or maybe people might see that about you. But you know, when it comes to this, you know, you're supposed to, you know, Pisces, you're intuitive anyway, so you usually have the third eye power, you know, the all-seeing eye, things like that. So this might, you know, the power might be unleashed, and you might be able to become more powerful because you can see through people's bullshit. So take it how it resonates. So thank you, Virgo and Pisces. I hope that this reading was helpful, and that's pretty much all I have for you for the April and May eclipses. So I appreciate your likes, shares, and subscribes, and tune in later for, you know, other readings, other videos, and other teachings that I'm going to be offering later on. On to the next time. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed your eclipse readings for all signs. And understand, again, this is my first time doing an all signs reading, so, you know, it's not going to be perfect. But I hope I was able to help some of you, and I appreciate you like, share, and subscribes. Also, understand that we are in Mercury pre-shadow. I said this a couple of times during the readings. So just to remind you that you're going to have a lot of people say that, oh, it's Mercury retrograde now. No, right now, the pre-shadow and the post-shadow is usually the worst part of Mercury retrograde. So, you know, you can download apps that will show you the dates that are going to be the most heaviest. And, you know, a lot of people dread this, but try to see it from a positive thing. You know, we are in duality. We live in duality. And so all these transits and things like that, even though they appear to be bad, or however you want to look at it, a lot of times they are not. A lot of times it's going to bring positive opportunities and lessons into your life. So, again, thanks for watching. I appreciate all your support, and I will see you next reading. Thanks.